Southampton 1, Spurs 0 is how it finished at St Mary's. Spurs looking very flat. A brilliant goal from Danny Ings, proving to be the difference between the two sides. We saw as well Dele Alli have an appeal for a penalty, and on the other side as well, Alderweireld very much could have been given away a spot kick for handball. In the end, Southampton taking all 3 points, and from a Spurs perspective, it'd be very difficult to put up an argument as to why they deserved anything from this.
Too slow in possession. There wasn't enough creativity in the top third of the field. Harry Kane was coming deep and trying to set other players up. Defensively, they didn't win the ball back quickly enough. Ndombele had to go on. He was actually playing quite well when he went off after 20 minutes or so. Eriksen playing as one of the holding midfield players. I'm not sure that's going to help Spurs defensively. The two centre-halves too far apart at times. Don't see the run of Danny Ings for the goal. It was a poor performance from Spurs.
And listen, this is a Spurs team who've been simply awful on the road all year long, and which has cost Pochettino his job. You thought that José Mourinho was going to come in and fix that, but there's been no significant change for me, and more concerningly, I'm not quite sure what Spurs are trying to do under José Mourinho. Defensively, they're disorganised, conceding too many, even by Mourinho's own admission. And then up front, especially without Son on the park, they simply don't have the pace to be a counter-attacking team. So in the end, you're just kind of left wondering if Harry Kane is going to produce another moment of brilliance. Once he limped off, you know that...
Yeah. And we saw Dele Alli, when Mourinho first came, Dele Alli looked to be back to his very best.
Now, is his brother back now?
Yeah,
I get confused.
So,
Who's back in all of this?
He didn't look as though he was going to get on the end of anything. He looks as though he's off the pace again. He's not the player he was 2 or 3 weeks ago, where he was scoring goals and looking at real talent. Just gone back.
It's a real concern. This is Southampton team. We haven't conceded at home. They have conceded in every game at home this season. But they look superior, like they look comfortable.
Yeah, and the problem that Spurs have at the moment is the reason they were such a good team 2 or 3 years ago is because they were one of the best sides in the league at, when the ball changed hands, either counter-attacking or when they lost possession, winning it back again. And that's not the case at the moment, and that should be the case with the José Mourinho team. That's what he wants from his players, that they win the ball back quickly, they counter-attack quickly when they win it. When the ball changes hand, they want to be the best side. They're not at the moment. They're one of the worst sides.
They look weak at the back.
They do. That's not helped by the midfield. On that caption there, you saw Sissoko infield. He was playing on the right-hand side, and Eriksen was playing as the central midfield player. And the two centre-halves, who were excellent players, weren't they, and formed a really good partnership for 2 or 3 years, look as though they're not on the same wavelength at the moment.
Is that something you recapture, or is that an age thing? Because
I don't think it's an age thing. I think the manager or the coach, whatever he wants to be described as, has got to get on the training field and start doing some work with them as a back four.
So is this okay in the sense that he hasn't had too much time to do that because of the frequency of the games? But
he's been there a little while now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit difficult over the Christmas period, but before that, you know...
he talks about Arteta. He's been there for 2 minutes, and you can see the difference.
He's got to work harder at the defensive side of the game, something you always expect from José Mourinho. He struggles usually with the, a little bit of creativity in the top third of the field. Well, Spurs have got that. They didn't have it today, but they've got all those players that can do that. Son, when he comes back, Lucas Moura that can go past people, Dele Alli, who is good when balls come into the box, Harry Kane, a great goal scorer.
Yeah.
But they're just not defending well enough all over the field.
To that point, I disagree with you. I think this is an age thing between Alderweireld and Vertonghen. Not just because of their lack of pace and because of they're getting older, they've lost at least half a yard. And that's telling in Alderweireld's poor positioning for the initial ball over the top of Vertonghen. And then even as you look at Danny Ings, as he exposes Alderweireld, look at Vertonghen. He is 10 yards behind the play and makes up absolutely no ground, even though Danny Ings is running across the box. He can't get anywhere near to the shot. And that, for me, is a concern where you have defenders who, on the odd occasion that they get caught out of position, can't make up any kind of ground.
But the problem for Mourinho, the alternatives, Sanchez looks as though he's got a mistake in him. Right. And Foyt, who played against Norwich, had to come off at half-time because he'd had such a poor game. So he's got to stick with Vertonghen and Alderweireld.
The happy Mourinho's definitely over again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Moaning about VAR. Did he have a point? Should Ali have had a penalty?
I don't think so. I think it was touch and go, but I don't think it was a clear and obvious error. That's why the VAR didn't get the referee to change his mind. And he's making an excuse for his own team's poor performance. This is the Mourinho we saw at the back end of his time at Manchester United.
The Alderweireld handball, I thought, was more of a penalty claim in the second half, in that his hand seemed to be...
So do I.
It did make himself bigger.
Correct. And when the ball strikes his arm, it does seem as though it may be over shoulder height, and I'm saying that because we didn't get the real benefit of a lot of slow motion replays on that. But yes, correct. If you're going to complain about VAR with one of those two incidents, I thought the Alderweireld handball was the more egregious of the two.
Mourinho has grabbed all the headlines for his antics on the touchline, going over to the Southampton bench and looking at I think it was the goalkeeper coach who was making notes.
Yeah, and he said that he was rude.
He was
to
rude
an
to an
idiot.
idiot. Yeah, exactly.
And I presume he's talking about the Southampton.
Yeah, why are you pointing at me? When you say that?
I always think you're an idiot, Dan. But don't worry about that. No, of course I don't think you're an idiot. No, but that's what he's talking about, the goalkeeping coach, and it's Mourinho all over again.
This is distracting, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Look over here, because don't look at what my team
the sarcastic way he cuddled the referee and shook his hand and all that when he got the yellow card.
Yes.
This is Mourinho again, as you say, hiding the fact that his team were poor and have been for the last couple of games.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.